How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Pittsburgh Penguins franchise mode, episode number 3 here on NHL 23, headed into the second half of year number 1 with the Penguins, 2023-24. Now, in the last one, we had a very rough start to the season. We've had a solid last 10 games or so, but it was a very rough start to our first year here with the Penguins in 2023-24. The point totals have been coming along. Brian Rust's on pace for 32 goals. He has 26 points at the moment. Sidney Crosby's below point per game, which has been frustrating. Jake Guentzel on pace for 30 goals and 70 points. Okay. But the depth scoring has not been there. Raquel's on pace for 14 goals. Malkin's been all right. Jason Zucker not doing super hot. Philip Hollander, of course, as we get into the bottom 6, we have our 78, 77 overall guys. Nylander, Hollander, Poulin, Paling, they have not been cutting it. On defense, we're seeing Ty Smith play top pair instead of Dmitry Orlov, who has 3 goals, 11 assists, and is a -6 on the season. He has improved since coming to the third pair. P.O. Joseph is on pace to have 2 points this season. Ty Smith's been doing well. Chris Letang's been doing okay, but it has been a very lackluster season here with the Penguins so far to start our first season with the Pens. Meanwhile, Adin Hill has been playing every game. He has a solid enough .911 save percentage and 2.76 goals against average. He's been forced to play all the games because Casey DeSmith had an abysmal preseason, followed by playing in 3 of the first 4 games of the year, having an .821 save percentage, 4.15 goals against average, and just Hill's been there ever since. So the scoring has been so-so, the defense has been so-so, the goaltending so-so. Guess what our record is? So-so. 18-3 is our record at the halfway point. We're on pace to have a 40-win, 86-point season, which would likely not be enough for the postseason, and that is not what we're looking to do here. We don't want to be good in a few years. We don't want to just make the postseason. We want to be contenders ASAP here with the Pens, and that's where some changes will have to come in this episode. Thankfully, due to the assistance from all the assistant general managers, we are ready to make some of those decisions. There are a few different directions that we could go in: coaching decisions, forwards, defense, goaltending. So with all your thoughts put together, I think we have a good idea of what our game plan can be headed into the second half. And the result, basically, not just we want it to be, but it has to be a solid and convincing postseason berth. And of course, don't forget about Ryan O'Reilly. I didn't show him in the lineup because he just received an injury towards the end of last episode. But he has 25 points in 40 games, on pace for 50 points or so, only for under 10 goals though. So Ryan O'Reilly has been good. We have him for the defense, but we were expecting more scoring, I do have to admit. Last year in the simulation, scored 61 points with the Maple Leafs. And, you know, I'm not expecting 80, but stuff like that. But high 50s, low 60s. He's on pace for 50. I would want to see just a tad more from Ryan O'Reilly, especially when he has solid enough line mates to make that happen. So, hopping into the comments to check out what the assistant general managers had to say. The first comment coming from Lander. Lander says you should consider getting a veterans head coach so your older guys don't drop off that much while trying to push for the cup. Now, that's a great idea, because if you have a veterans head coach and your team is made up of mostly veterans, their regression will happen more slowly. Now, the only unfortunate part is they usually have terrible team fits. For example, our current head coach is A- overall and a forwards coach. But if I go to the free agent staff pool and I say, oh, look at this guy, he's a veterans coach and he's A-rated. Sounds like a perfect fit. He is a 47% team fit, but that should be okay, right? Well, look at Crosby, look at Guentzel, look at Malkin, look at those fits. I did a little experiment just to see, out of my curiosity, to see would it really change line chemistry that much. The top 4 forward lines of +5, +1, +1, +1 all become zeros with this guy as the head coach. So yes, line chemistry is not everything, but a +5 versus a 0 with all red X's in the lineup and only X factors are keeping it from being like a -3. Veterans coaches have a hard time with that. So that's why I would probably get a veterans associate coach or assistant coach, something like that. But keeping on the topic of coaching, as in the last episode, I fired most of the coaching staff in the hopes of raising the staff chemistry, because I had seen in my past franchise modes that usually staff chemistry of 60, 70% and more give you the best results. I was trying to fire people who gave bad morale, but then now we have less coaches, stuff like that. Pilon, that's a comment. Is it Pylon47 or Pilon47? I don't know, but Pilon says, yo, Data, the key to coaching chemistry is to make sure that the head coach and assistants all have the same penalty kill and power play strategy. Give it a shot. So I will absolutely do that, as we're going to be hiring a new assistant coach and a goalie coach. We're going to try to make that happen in this episode. I promise. There are a lot of people in the comments saying, why don't you have a full coaching staff? I promise it was not on purpose. It's not that I'm trying to save money or go with some sort of minimalistic view. I was just trying to increase staff chemistry. So I'll do that off screen. I'll try to find a good assistant coach and a goalie coach just to fill out the staff, and hopefully over time the staff chemistry will go up. Now moving into the thoughts about the forwards. When it came to the forward thoughts, there were a lot of suggestions because of the trade blocks around the NHL. Tyler Toffoli, Ryan Hartman, Matt Zuccarello, Mike Hoffman, all scoring forwards who were on the block. Only problem is, most of our forwards have no movement clauses, no trade clauses. It would be tight with the salary cap depending on who we get as well and who we're moving out. It would be a delicate situation. Now, when it came to who do we go after, Super Loser says, hey Data, great video as always. Thank you, my friend. In my opinion, the biggest problem with the team is the lack of snipers in the top 9. Jake Gensel is the only one, and judging by our shooting percentage in slow sim games, that is not enough. Oftentimes we're getting 30 plus shots, but only scoring once or twice. I would definitely try to make a move for Tyler Toffoli. Another guy to take a look at is Mike Hoffman. He's older, but his numbers have been great so far. Trade for one of those guys and put them on the second line with Raquel and O'Reilly. I like Hartman, but I wouldn't trade for him. We already have 4 two-way forwards in the middle 6. He's a good player, but he doesn't fit our needs. Lastly, I would also make a move for another goalie. We need someone to take some of the load off of Hill's shoulders. That's all I got. Good luck and go Pens. Thank you, Super Loser. I love that idea because while Hartman is inexpensive and a good overall and scoring well, he's another scoring two-way forward. That's what we already have in Rust, what we already have in Zucker, what we already kind of had in Jordan Stahl, he had 14 points in 31 games. So we already have those two-way forwards who have the ability to score. If we were to go out and get someone who really is going to bump up those shooting percentage numbers, it would probably be someone like a Tyler Toffoli or a Mike Hoffman, etc. So while Hartman would be a great idea, it may not be exactly what we need right now. I think adding another sniper in addition to Jake Gensel in the top 6 would be the #1 priority. Concerning the goaltending, we definitely have to do something, whether it be bringing in a new backup or bringing in someone to actually share the crease or even take the majority of the crease from Adin Hill. We got to do something with the goaltending. So I'll get a bit more into that afterwards, but absolutely a point of concern. Invaluable 04 agrees with the Toffoli possibility. Definitely pick up someone like Toffoli. The team's overall play has been really disappointing, and we need someone who can put up goals. I'd also look for an 80-ish overall backup for Hill. He can't play every game in the season. Wishing you the best of luck in the second half of the season. Hopefully we can turn this ship around. Thank you very much, my friend. When it comes to other forward options, Journey of an Author, Alfred leaves an interesting comment here saying, even when the results aren't there, you make the video entertaining. Thank you, my friend. We're all here pulling our hair out with you. I will say we've been in this spot before, not often, but we know how to turn it around. I do think we need to swap our depth players who can be moved if possible. Definitely a goalie change could be coming as we get closer to trade deadline if getting rid of DeSmith isn't enough. Now, when it comes to the specific names, Jakob Silfverberg wasn't too pricey with his low trade value and could provide a stable player on the bottom 6 over in Anaheim. Anyone on Calgary's trade block seemed reasonable for our trade capabilities as well. They had a lot of names on the block. Other than Toffoli, Chris Tanev also looks intriguing. Also, Pius Suter over on Detroit, but other than fourth line center, not really sure where he would fit, but definitely an option. Hartman could be a nice piece that we build with instead of just being a one-year rental. Agreed again, but I think we just need scoring. Even, Toffoli could be someone we keep long-term as well, but we need longer-term scoring. While I'm surprised in the team, I have faith in your decisions and our hive mind and think we are still a threat if we make it to the dance. Looking forward to the second half. Alfred, great thoughts. Thank you for raising up those names that weren't maybe the most popular. Appreciate those thoughts, buddy. Last YouTube comment will come from Cheating Heel, who says, brutal start of our era in Pittsburgh. As mentioned in my comment on the previous video, I think we need to show the team that this kind of performance won't go without consequences. There are a few people we should look into moving out. Number 1, Rickard Rakell. He has a no-trade clause to 8 teams, so he should be fairly easy to move. Number 2, Brian Rust. He has a full no-move clause, so that might be a bit more difficult, but he might accept a trade to a contender, maybe, or, we're stuck with them. Number 3, Jeff Petrie. He has a 15-team no-trade clause. Again, probably, we're thinking about the Canadian teams, Arizona, Buffalo. There would be a lot of other teams that he'd likely be interested in going to. And number 4, Casey DeSmith. Trade him for whatever and sign or trade for literally any goalie available. Now, I want to showcase this comment especially because aside from the comments the words I'll get to in a moment, a lot of people were suggesting, yeah, definitely move out Petrie, get a better prospect, get that money off the table. And while it would be possible to move him as he has a 15-team no-trade clause, I think part of the challenge here in Pittsburgh is trying to win or at least do our best with Jeff Petrie in the lineup. Kind of like how we did it in San Jose. We kept Vlasic, we kept Hurdle, we kept all those contracts. I would like to try and win with Petrie in the lineup. If we eventually trade or buy him out or whatever, then so be it. But at the moment, in the real world, I don't think he has much value, and while we could move him for a good prospect here in EA land, I don't think it would be the most realistic thing. So, for at least the time being, maybe at least until the deadline, I think we're going to keep him on board. For the other players, though, they are potentially movable if we found the right deal. So, Cheating Heel goes on to say we should also look at trading some of our young players. Hollander, Poulin, Paling, P.O. Joseph, Alex Nylander. They're all getting to the point where their growth will slow down, and none of them will have has had a real impact. We might entertain swapping some of them for younger prospects before their value starts dropping. So then into some thoughts on Petrie maybe going to Dallas, maybe Rakell moving out for Toffoli, Zuccarello, or Hartman. All three of those guys are in their last years of their deals. Perhaps Paling or Poulin for Beecher, leaving DeSmith on the curb and hope someone picks him up, but there's not a ton of options at this time. Cheating Heel says move Petrie and DeSmith for sure ASAP, and we can look into some other moves either right away or wait until the deadline and hope there's more options available to us. That's what I'm thinking for Petrie. Probably wait more till the deadline. The only thing is it might be too late to save our season at that point. There's the gamble. We also need to make sure coaching is a priority, of course. Chemistry is probably one of the things pulling us down. Let's pull up our sleeves and start making more changes around our 3 stars before we run out of time. Go Pens. Thank you, Cheating Heel. Great, not only in terms of suggestions, but in terms of opening a bigger discussion, so appreciate that. As per usual, great discussions over on the Discord server. Cam left a good comment talking about how we need speed, how the Penguins outshooting the opponent but not putting the puck in the back of the net is a common problem in the real world as well. Lots of great discussions back and forth between all the assistant general managers over there. But I just want to highlight Pat's comment. This got a lot of reactions. Data, I love all the entertainment that you give us, and 99.9% of what you do is well thought out and most logical. Thank you. That said, Dollar Tree during back to school is less understaffed than this. Our 2 NHL coaches and our 2 AHL coaches, only 4 out of 8 spots currently filled. I think the most obvious way to help the goalies is to hire someone to make sure they aren't spending practice eating Popeyes. Casey's on his 9th spicy tender. So we're going to definitely do that. Thank you, Pat, for highlighting the need for us to do that. And there are the thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. So taking all that into account, here is my current state of mind. I think a move to bring in a scorer is absolutely needed. And I think if it comes down to saying let's try and maybe give preferential treatment to a sniper, I think the 3 biggest names would be Toffoli, Hoffman, and Zuccarello. So Toffoli, he's on the block. He's 31 years of age. He's 85 overall coming off of his contract. And he is currently scoring, let's see it, 11 goals, 23 assists, so 34 points in 45 games, on pace for over 60 points this season, currently playing, I'm not sure what line he's on, power play 2 it says, and he's playing close to 19 and a half minutes of ice time per night. Now, over on Minnesota, we have Matt Zuccarello, also on the block, also 85 overall, also in the final year of his deal, but 36 years of age, and currently great numbers from him as well, 13 goals, 25 assists. Minnesota as a team, however, well, not much, they're a little bit better than Calgary, nothing too crazy, and same for Montreal. All 3 of those teams are hovering around 5 500. Mike Hoffman, the last one that we would look at here, is also 85 overall, also on an expiring deal, but 34 years of age. So really the big difference comes down to the age between those three. Hoffman currently with 31 points on pace for on pace for 62. Playing on the second line in Montreal. Now, Mike Hoffman, 4-star shooting. The defense is questionable. We wouldn't be bringing in someone for defense, but I want someone who's able to hold his own a bit defensively and can skate well enough as well when talking about the speed. At 34 years of age, I'm scared that the speed could start to drop off, and bringing in another guy who's 1 or 2 years away from definitely being retired, or at least not good enough to even be in our top 6, that scares me a little bit. So if I had to choose someone today, it could be any three of them. Probably Zuccarello if I had to be honest. But I'm trying to think about ROI here, return on investment. For Tyler Toffoli from the Calgary Flames, he is the youngest. 31 is not 24, but he could still have 2, 3, 4 good years left in him before he sees major regression. Skating's a little bit lower at 3.5 stars, but it will be more steady. Defensive awareness at 87, stick checking at 88, and he's not out there to block shots. I like the awareness. I like his 4.5-star shooting as well. A lot of things about Tyler Toffoli makes me say yes, this is our guy. So I think a move for Tyler Toffoli would definitely be in the cards here. The Flames are hovering just around 500. They are sellers. They have him on the block. It all makes sense. Now, who would we send back the other way? When we think about our forwards, we have to take someone out of our current lineup. Hollander, I think he has to stay because we want to see if we can get growth out of him. We promised him a year in Pittsburgh in the NHL. I don't think it would make sense for us to trade him. He wouldn't be too happy with that. I think keeping Hollander makes the most sense in our bottom 6. A guy like Poehling doesn't have much value. Nylander, not much value. I think it kind of has to be Poulin, because with his high top 9 potential, his value is raised a little bit. 78 overall, 22 years of age. He's had some trouble in the player assistance program. Maybe he just needs a different change of scenery. In 21 games, he has 3 goals, -6, only 820 of ice time. I understand that. And he could see some good growth, but I don't know, 2.5-star defense, 3-star shooting. It's hard to get those to grow at this age, and his overall is currently being bumped up by 87 strength, 87 durability, 88 aggressiveness, stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind moving out Poulin in a deal like this to Calgary, one player out for another, and we'd also have to move just probably like a draft pick to get the trade value to be even. We have our first, our second, and 2/3 from Toronto and Vegas here. So as a team that wants to be in win now mode, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to give up some of these picks. If I were to say Calgary, here's Poulin and a third. You get a draft pick and you get a young forward on a team where you're sellers, you have this guy on the block, you're going to lose him for nothing, you're around 500. If they want to do this on trade difficulty set to hard, that would be amazing. I don't know if they would though. So what does Calgary say to this? Samuel Poulin and a 3rd-round pick from Vegas in exchange for Tyler Toffoli. Trade rejected is not where we need to be. Let's see what we need to add here. Would it just be a 7th? I'll give you your 7th back in 2024. I'm not sure how Pittsburgh has this one. I'm blanking on what trade that could be from. So what do you think about this, Calgary? It's quite close to fair value. So I'll keep my 2 7ths and I'll throw you a 6th. I think that's fair enough here. So Poulin, a 3rd, and a 6th. For Tyler Toffoli, who's having a great year, but you want to move your sellers, you're around 500, you're not convinced that he'll want to stay or that you'll win. Calgary, what do you say? Trade accepted. Thank you very much. Tyler Toffoli, welcome to Pittsburgh. You're going to be a great scoring touch for us. Welcome aboard, Bello. So let's go to roster moves. I'll fix that up, and then I'll get to my next move. All right, so now for our next move. I was considering making a defensive pickup, maybe doing a 2-for-1 here with Calgary because Chris Tanev was on the block. Many people were suggesting maybe Chris Tanev. He's 83, 34 years of age, on an expiring deal. If it didn't work out, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be more trade value to give up for a guy who is a -19 this year. So Tanev, while the attributes are interesting at 4.5-star defense, I'm sure he would do well here. It's just, it would probably cost P.O. Joseph and a pick. And while I haven't been impressed with P.O. Joseph, giving up a guy with a young defenseman with potential who's only 2 overall less and like a decade younger, I'm not sure I want to do that just yet. So if we do a defensive pickup, I think that would be closer to the deadline. Now, my next move is we absolutely have to move out Casey DeSmith ASAP. Casey DeSmith just not working out here. Expiring deal. He's definitely gone after this season. I just want to move him out and be done with him, honestly. I know in the real world, I kind of have some belief in him. I think he's had some good flashes of brilliance in the real world. Had a tough 22-23 season. I'm going to go ahead and trade him to the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that is below 500 and has no real backup goalie in the NHL. Legacy, he was a 76 overall. I'm sure they'd love Casey DeSmith behind Andrei Vasilevsky. They cannot take on Casey DeSmith. They need to move out a player. So I'm going to have to pick up Philip Myers, I believe. Yes, Philippe Myers. So while I'd love to get a pick instead of a player, there are really just no teams in the league who need a goalie and are able to take on a goalie and not have to give up someone else back, and the trade value isn't high in the first place. Essentially, it's just moving DeSmith out and making space for somebody else. If I throw in a 7th, they say no way. Actually, you know what? Let me just do that just to demonstrate it to you how crazy this system is. I say, okay, can I have a 7th round pick, Tampa Bay, for giving you a backup goalie and doing you a massive favor? Oh wait, they do this? What? Maybe I misunderstood. I thought I had run a test a few days ago. I guess I totally forgot. Okay, 6 isn't sufficient at all, but a 7th, it works. You know what? It was a good thing I went and checked then. 2024 7th from Tampa Bay. Oh, sorry. It's a bit low for us in 2024. That's what it was. But in 2025, let me guess, they're going to be laughing all the way to the bank, right? Let's see it. I'm happy to accept this proposal. I'm so glad that you are. All right, so Casey DeSmith off to Tampa Bay. Good luck, my friend. Thank you for your years of service here in Pittsburgh. So for the moment, I'm just going to quickly call up Gauthier. He doesn't have to go through waivers, so I'll just call him up quickly. There we go. He'll just hold the spot for a moment because I have one more trade in store. So now that Casey DeSmith is gone, we need to start thinking about who's going to be between the pipes with Adin Hill, whether it be a backup, a shared crease thing, or a new starter. We got to start considering who's it going to be. Now, when we want to look at who could we pick up, there are a lot of filters that we need to put on. First, we got to think, who are the teams that have 3 NHL caliber goalies, so that if we were to take one away from that team, they could still call one up and be in a fine situation. Number 2, do they have good stats? And number 3, does the story make sense? So if I go ahead and sort by save percentage in the league, not putting any minimums on, and I see some names right away, some of the backups in the league, Jonathan Bernier, Anton Forsberg, Mackenzie Blackwood, Peter Marachik, Jack Campbell, guys like that are very interesting to me. Would it be cool to go out and say, hey, Jack Campbell, you're on board, 4x5, let's sign you up? That would be interesting. However, if I look at the storyline, the Oilers have almost 30 wins. They're one of the best teams in the league. And yes, while Stuart Skinner has been their starter, they seem to be very content with Jack Campbell. He's not on the block. And if I were to take him away, would they really want Calvin Pickard as their backup? Probably not. So while I could maybe stretch the story to make sense, I don't think that the Oilers would want to necessarily be shopping Jack Campbell at this time. So if I really consider all those filters that I just said, I think there's a name that really stands out above the rest, and that is Mackenzie Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood is currently 8-6-1 with a shutout, .922 save percentage, and 2.45 goals against average. He is an 84 overall who's on an expiring contract, making $1.86 million. He's on a winning team, so maybe they wouldn't want to move him, but if we were to take him away from New Jersey, that would allow them to call up Akira Schmid, who's an 82 overall, being stuck in the AHL right now, putting up fantastic numbers. So while I think they would probably be a bit hesitant to move Blackwood, he's been such a good backup, I think the story makes sense. He's on an expiring deal. They have a real starter in Vanacek. They can get a good backup. Then Imo and Dawes can be their 2 AHL goalies. I think this makes a lot of sense for us. So if we were to acquire Mackenzie Blackwood, it wouldn't be a lot of trade value. Plus, we'd still be able to be under the salary cap. We don't have to move anybody out. We can keep our team exactly as it is and just throw a couple picks their way. So I probably want to avoid moving the first or the second this year, or maybe the second in, or even our third, maybe our second in 2025. That puts the value in our favor by quite a bit. And then I could say, okay, in 2025, throw me back a third and a fifth. So essentially swapping a second for a third and a fifth in 2025, and we get Mackenzie Blackwood for this season. New Jersey, what do you think about that? Okay, not quite. Let's try a 2025 sixth. What do we say to that? No. Let's try the third straight up then. Trade accepted. All right. Mackenzie Blackwood, welcome to Pittsburgh, Bella. We swap a second for a third in 2025, and we got a new starting goalie for this season, maybe even beyond this season. So Mackenzie Blackwood can start with Adin Hill for a little bit. They can share some starts. They've both been very good according to their numbers, and now we can be a bit more confident between the crease with a little bit more scoring, and then we can wait and see on the defense. So for the moment, with Ryan O'Reilly still out, here are the lines to continue into the second half here in Pittsburgh. Rust, Crosby, and Gensel will play on the first line. Raquel, Malkin, and Toffoli will play on the second line. I think he looks great as a Penguin, I gotta say. Third line will go Hollander, Stahl, and Zucker, with fourth line being Nylander, Paling, and Yager. Defense will remain the same for the time being. And goaltending will give the next few starts to Mackenzie Blackwood, and he will be currently backed up by Adin Hill. So we'll keep auto-rotate goalie turned off just for a little bit more because I want to make sure that Blackwood's getting the next few starts. We'll try to start comparing numbers, seeing how they do, and then we'll make a game plan into the rest of the season from there. So he's fully healed. I guess let me take care of that. Actually, he was already fully healed, so just a waste of my time. Fantastic. And you know what? One other thing now that I think about injuries made me think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have another forward, like a 14th forward in the NHL. Because last episode, when we had a couple injuries, we had to call up a 72 overall from Wilkes-Barre Scranton. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have someone 78, 77, something like that, just in case we need a 14th forward. This guy seems to make sense. Fourth liner, 79 overall, has medium top 9 potential. He's 25. Why not? Cole Kopke, 6th round pick in 2018, two-way forward. Yeah, why not? I don't know if he'll even play a single game, but we'll just throw him in there and we'll see what happens. All right, so that's all taken care of. We are now at Madison Square Garden to have the first game of the second half of this season. We are 6-2-2 in our last 10 games. We are 20-18-3 on the season, on pace to have 40 wins. Let's try and smash that number. And it all starts here in New York. New York. And first game of a doubleheader here. First game in New York, then second game going to be facing the Panthers. First period action, it's 1-0 Rangers. Zach Jones scoring on Mackenzie Blackwood, his first game as a Penguin. Both Blackwood and Toffoli out here in their debuts. Second period, 1-1. Rickard Rakell ties it up on Shesterkin. Shots are 20-17 in New York's favor, and we're tied at 1 through 40 minutes. Third period action, 5 minutes in. It's a good battle here. Shesterkin standing tall. Power play Pittsburgh. 5-on-3, and Jaromir Jagr scores as the power play expires. The former Ranger scoring in Madison Square Garden. How about that? The fans going nuts. That's the go-ahead goal with 5 minutes going. Sidney Crosby on the power play. That may be enough to do it with a minute and a half left in this one. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of the power play, I put Tyler Toffoli on the first unit with Crosby, so maybe that's a point for him. Shots end 30-29. 51-year-old Jaromir Jagr gets the game-winning goal. Second star honors. Mackenzie Blackwood makes 28 saves in his Penguins debut, and we'll take that for a 3-1 victory. How do you do? Whoo, baby. All right. So now we're back home. It will be the home debut for Tyler Toffoli, and Blackwood will back up here. I want to make sure he gets a little bit of rest. He just came in a couple days ago. He will back up Adin Hill. All right, at home to face the Panthers, who are 22-18-4. Let's do it. Toffoli in front of the home fans for the first time, and Blackwood doing so on the bench, backing up Adin Hill before he will start versus the Devils at home next game. First period, 3-1 Panthers. Ty Smith scores short-handed to open it up, but then Verhaeghe, Reinhart, and Lundell score 3 goals in 5 minutes. 3 goals on 8 shots. We're out shooting Florida 12-8, but we're down by 2. Second period, 4-2 goal apiece there. Marcus Pettersson, both are goals from defensemen, and Brandon Montour for the Panthers. We're out shooting Florida 21-19. We're down by 2 here in the third. Not unsurmountable. Unsurmountable? Power play Pittsburgh, killed off by the Panthers. Halfway through this third period, still leading the shots by a little bit, but we cannot get anything more past Spencer Knight, it seems, here. Final 5 minutes. Let's put some shots on nets. We're barely getting anything. We have no shots in the last 4 minutes, and that'll be it. If you're not going to get the shots, then you're not going to get the goals. We dropped that one by a score of 4-2. Montour, Verhaeghe, and Reinhart, the stars in that one. So let's start, now that back-to-back is done, let's get a little streak going for Mackenzie Blackwood. And his first start at home as a Penguin will come against his old team, and Kopeke's on board great, the New Jersey Devils. We are 21-19-3. The Devils are 26-14-3. Divisional rivals, they have 55 points. We have 45 points. Everything matters, especially in games where we're facing Metropolitan Division teams. Let's do it at home before we get into some calendar simulation at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. First period, 1-0. It's Rickard Rakell on the power play. We had him on the first unit previously. He's now on the second unit, and there's a power play goal from him. 16-12, the shots for New Jersey through 20 minutes. 1-0 Pens. Second period, 2-1. Dawson Mercer and Jack Hughes scoring twice. A lot of shots, 25 against through 40 minutes, and we're down by 1 heading into the third period. Shots are pretty tight here as we allow 2 in the second. Make that a third unanswered now as Jesper Bratt makes it 3-1. We are down by 2. Hold on, Jake Gensel gives us some life, and it's a 1-goal game once more. 12 minutes to go, both teams with around 30 shots, now over 30 shots. 8 minutes to go, power play New Jersey late. We kill it off, final 4 minutes in this one, and Jason Zucker ties it up at 3. 2 minutes to go in this one, final minute. Are we gonna head to overtime? Yes, we will. Wow. 40-33, 73 shots in this one so far. We are tied at 3 thanks to 2 third-period goals. Jake Gensel and Jason Zucker tying this game up. Let's head into overtime. Overtime in Pittsburgh. This extra point could be big here against a divisional rival. Crosby, Gensel, and Letang are out. Blackwood between the pipes against his old team. He'd love to get a victory. He's made a lot of saves here tonight so far. No matter what happens, we're proud of him. Jesper Bratt up to Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton up to Bratt. Hughes now against Crosby, and Bratt gets bumped off by Letang. Crosby up to Gensel, one-on-one against Hughes. He's going to stop up. He gets triangle formation. He still has it. Gensel, okay, on net, rebound! Big save from Vanacek going across the crease. Crosby on the doorstep there. Letang fishes it out from under Hamilton. Here's Crosby with space. Sidney Crosby goes between the legs. The audacity! But that, I believe Vanacek got a piece of that one. Letang to Rakell. That shot goes just wide, and Vanacek will now hang on. Zucker can't get that face-off away. Rust. Now here's Orlov with a lane. Big kick save, toe save, I should say, by Vanacek as Orlov has another opportunity. Rust. Kane will have possession once again, gives us the point. John Marino, the former Penguin. Shrangovich with a little lane himself to Patty Kane to Shrangovich! Oh! Mackenzie Blackwood sprawls across the crease, gets it in the glove, and will hang on for the draw. Great sprawling show of agility from Mackenzie Blackwood. He was against Orlov. He gets hit down hard. Orlov has possession. He's coming back the other way. Orlov with a lot of space. Orlov... NHL 23, ladies and gentlemen. Clear lane to the goal, to the net, and just the puck leaves his stick. Can Malkin win this draw to Letang? 3.5 seconds left. Let's see this. Malkin wins it to Letang on net. Big save, Vanacek, and Rakell's rebound is stopped as well. Just like they drew it up, but scoreless through 65 minutes. Mackenzie Blackwood making that huge save. We're headed to a shootout. Jack Hughes up to shoot first on Mackenzie Blackwood. The first shot of this shootout, blocker save from Blackwood. Sidney Crosby coming in now, the first shooter for Pittsburgh, and that's as well, once again, a blocker save. Patrick Kane now, the shootout specialist. Ooh, Blackwood sticks with it and keeps the pad on it. Now here is Jake Gensel, scores! The classic backhand, forehand, come in tight and just shoot, and the goalie will make some sort of animation, and it goes right through him. Beautiful. Great. Gensel gives us the go-ahead goal. Now New Jersey needs to score. Jesper Bratt has to capitalize, and he does. Forehand, backhand, classic. But we do have the opportunity to win it now. We're on the stick of Evgeny Malkin. Gino to close it out. Gino Malkin wins it in Pittsburgh. Give us that extra point. Very much needed, and the Penguins win it at home. Big win. Mackenzie Blackwood winning his home debut. There's Toffoli, number 72. Beautiful. Shots in that one ended 45-39 in New Jersey's favor, but we came away with the shootout victory, 2-1-0 in 3 games since making those trades. Let's get a little simulation done until Ryan O'Reilly comes back, maybe sometime around the All-Star break. Let's go through until then and see whenever he comes back. Let me guess, in like 2 days. I totally forgot when his injury was until, but we'll see how far that brings us. 3-2 win against Detroit, 5-3 loss against Minnesota, and then a 4-1 win against the Rangers. Apologies for the little jump there because I've been doing the scouting as well as making sure that the coaching staff is finally fully taken care of, mixing and matching, hiring as assistant, then demoting to goalie. It's a big process, the big game of musical chairs. Now the staff is all filled out. We have a C-rated veterans assistant coach who has the same power play setup as our head coach, which is power play and penalty kill. I can't see it here. But if we go look at our head coach, it's passive box for penalty kill and shooting for the power play. So it's the same as Grossman, Fukale. Robitaille is a C-rated coach. Unfortunately, no actual goalie coaches were available, but Sylvain Robitaille, he is our goalie coach. So that's a full NHL staff and 2 D-rated AHL staff members as well, especially one with A+ teaching in the goalie coach and an actual goalie coach as well. So the staff is full, 64% chemistry in the AHL, 60% chemistry in the NHL. Hopefully it will grow. Everyone's getting paid. Everyone's locked in for 8-year contracts aside from our NHL head and associate coaches. So that's good to have right there. I hate having to play around with the coaches too often. Just sign them to 8-year deals and go from there. So a couple more games until the All-Star break. We're at home to host the Sharks. As give me a second here. Bruins have fired their head coach Ezra Godfrey. The Sharks are 25-22, and I didn't see what they were, but they beat us 3-1 in regulation. And the Coyotes, who are 24-21-6, I believe, we beat them 4-2. Through the All-Star break, will Ryan O'Reilly come back? Not yet. Let's see if we can make it back before our first game, which will be against the Panthers. Not quite yet. So since we made those trades, we are 5-3-0 in our last 8 games. Let's keep on going. Hopefully we get Ryan O'Reilly back sooner rather than later. I think we'll put Adin Hill in for this game against the Winnipeg Jets. And thankfully, ROR is fully healed and finally ready to get back in this lineup. Now the question is, do we throw Malkin back up on the top line? Or do we try Ryan O'Reilly as third line center? Paling bumps out of the lineup. What has Paling been doing down here? 2 goals, 9 assists, -6 in 50 games. Rust, how's he been doing? Still, what? He has 0 goals in the last, 10 games? 9 games? 0 goals in 9 games as a first liner? Come on, Brian Rust. Crosby, Gensel, Raquel, 10 and 18. Malkin's doing well as second liner. Tyler Toffoli on the second line has 5 assists in 9 games, so just not scoring. Okay, no problem. Let me try and see what I can mix and match here. Alright, so we'll try the lines like this, but I gotta say, Hollander on that third line spot, bit questionable. Maybe that's where we look at the Pia Suter or the Jakob Silfverberg like we were saying earlier. But for the moment, we'll go Raquel, Crosby, Gensel, Rust, Malkin, Toffoli, Zucker, O'Reilly, Hollander, Nylander, Stahl, Yager. Let's try that. On defense, I'm swapping Orlov with Petrie, and Adin Hill will get the start here against the against the Winnipeg Jets. So, can I please stop for a second? Are they going to make me go? Why does it say June? 5-2 win against the Panthers. Actually, let me go. Hold on. It's going to be Blackwood against the Hurricanes, then Hill against the Jets. Okay, Blackwood is in there for this big game here against the Hurricanes, and don't want to do that random trade. And we win 5-1. Huge win right there. All right, huge win. Very nicely done. Now we'll get Hill back in here against the 500 record Winnipeg Jets. Blackwood, he is killing it right now through what, like 9 games. He is 7-2-0, 941 save percentage, 1.99 goals against average. Small sample size, but incredible numbers. I'm glad that he's keeping up, if not even doing way better than what he was doing in New Jersey. All right, here we go against the Winnipeg Jets, who are 25-25-1. We're 7-3-0 in our last 10 games. Adin Hill between the pipes for this one. 4-3 victory. Let's get Blackwood back in. Adin Hill doing what he has to do, just about, 3 weeks until the trade deadline now? Big stuff. Let's see what our record can be over the next few weeks. A pivotal couple of, more than just a couple of, pivotal few matchups coming up here. Regulation, 3-1 loss against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm not trading you Zucker. I'm not giving you the Jason Zucker. After that, broke a 4-game winning streak. Then we're back on the horse with a 6-2 win against the Predators. Looking for win number 30 at home against the Avalanche. We lose in the shootout. Just the 4th non-regulation loss this year. 6-2 win against the Kings. Get win number 30. Through 56 games, we're now in a wild card spot. Then get shut out 2-0 by the Canadians. We're against the Blue Jackets now. Ryan O'Reilly, a third and a seventh. For Jeremy Swayman, Sam Gagner, Matt Grzelcyk, and a third. My goodness, how about that for a trade? I'll pass for the moment here. Let's go Hill against the Blue Jackets, then Blackwood against the Senators. Aiden Hill, buddy, let's go. You can do it for me one more time. Let's get these wins. Every game matters. We're at 30-23, and are we 30-23-4? Yes. Here against the Blue Jackets. Let's go see them. They are 22-28-6. They are not rivals at the moment because they're so far below us in the Metro, but they are usually rivals. We're on the road. We need a win. Let's see if we can get a little morale victory here in Columbus. First period, 1-0 Evgeny Malkin on Elvis Merzlikins. Second period, 4-1. Pettersson, even strength. Yager on the power play. Then Jordan Staal, even strength. Pacioretty scoring the lone goal for the Blue Jackets so far. We're almost doubling their shots, and we're up by 3 here in the third period. 30-16, the shots are in our favor. Power play, Penguins to ice it. That's killed off by the Blue Jackets. Then Jake Bean. They kill off a penalty, then they score a goal. They're only down by 2 now, halfway through the third period. Power play, Columbus. We kill that off. Very well done. 5 minutes to go, still up by 2. Shots are very much in our favor, and we'll call it right there. Shots end 37-25 for us, and we take it 4-2. Daniil Tarasov came in and made 19 saves in relief. Jaromir Jagr with a goal and an assist, just padding those all-time numbers. Can't wait to see what he's at after this season. So I turned auto-rotate goalie back on, so Blackwood should be in to start against the Senators. So I'll go ahead and sim towards the trade deadline. We have the Senators, the Blues, and then the Lightning. 3 games until we have to start thinking about deeper decisions. Nick Holden on the block. 80 overall, defensive defenseman. Wouldn't be a bad idea for us. If we ever had an injury, it would be Chad Ruhwedel, whatever you want to call him, who's a 78. So Nick Holden as an 80 with those attributes. That wouldn't be bad. You know what? Why the heck not? Nick Holden, let's claim him. Let's just slap him in there in case. 6-5 loss against the Senators. If Blackwood was in to start that one, that was his worst game so far. We're 31-24-4 with a couple games to go here. Malkin, mild concussion. Great. So O'Reilly back to the second line, Staal to the third, Paling back in the lineup. Thankfully, Malkin not out for too long, but unfortunate to lose him right now. Not doing that trade with you, Boston. No, thank you. Can I pause so we can go back to the normal calendar? Head coach replace you down in the AHL. Come on, can I please see the calendar? Thank you. Ooh, back-to-back shootout wins. 3-2 and 4-3. I'll take those 2 victories. If we look right now, we have the first wild card spot with 70 points. Even the division is still within our reach. We're only 6 points back of the Devils. We're 33-24 and 4 coming up against the Rangers before the trade deadline. The question now, do we make any more moves? A quick look at the points. We'll just take it a quick little glance. Malkin leads with 55 points through 60 games. I'm surprised that Crosby really hasn't picked it up that much. I think I saw that he's at 30 goals. Yes, 30 goals, 52 points for him. Gensel, 20 goals, 52 points. Toffoli. What has Tyler Toffoli done so far? 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points, and a +8 in 20 games. Yeah, that's very, very good. Rust, 43. Raquel, 36. O'Reilly, yeah. Letang, Zucker. No one's doing, like, atrociously bad. Yager has 24 points. Orlov has picked it up a bit. Ty Smith. Nylander, 18 isn't even that bad. Hollander, 17 isn't that bad either. You would maybe hope for a bit more, but is it worth sacrificing who he could become with his growth and his potential just to try and get someone for the next 20 games? I don't know. Petrie, P.O. Joseph, the plus minuses aren't abysmal either, with the worst one being -7 ROR, -6 to Paling, -5 to Hollander. And the goaltending's been good as well. It's hard to rationalize any big moves here. Blackwood in now, 15 games, 10-4-1, 938 save percentage, 2.04 goals against average. Incredible. So the goaltending is there, but as always, we'll do our due diligence. I wouldn't be opposed to bumping Hollander down if we had to, just for the next 20 games and the postseason. So, as I said, I'll do my due diligence and we'll see who's available. So I looked through the entire league, and there is just one player who intrigues me with all the stars aligned. All the players that intrigued me were either on great teams or on bad contracts or things that just didn't make sense. I looked at Silverberg, I looked at P.S. Suter. They had terrible plus minuses, things that just didn't quite make sense for us. Now the Bruins are having a horrible season. They're 22-35-4. Jake DeBrusk is definitely on his way out. Not having an incredible season, but he is a sniper, something that we need more of. We need more depth scoring. 12 goals, 22 assists, -10 in 61 games. Not incredible, but he is an 84 overall sniper with great attributes. But if we put him with the right line mates, you never know what might happen. 90 offensive awareness, and it wouldn't take a ton to take a risk on him. Ryan Poehling would go back the other way. He's 25, low top 6 potential. I was trying to make him the fourth line center this season. I don't know. It hasn't really worked out. What do I really expect from a guy getting less than 10 minutes a night? I don't know. But he's a -6, 11 points in 51 games. Not the worst pace, but he's not going to grow much from what he is right now. And it's 1.1 million that we could be giving league minimum to someone else to be doing the same role. As a Canadiens fan, I'd love to see Ryan Poehling succeed, but I wouldn't mind moving him to the Bruins, who want him. A 4th-round pick next year, something they also want. And maybe just Philippe Myers to say, here's a 27-year-old defenseman, throw him in your system, see what happens. Boston, what do you think about this? Isn't sufficient at all, but the value does look quite even. So I bet throwing in a 6th or a 7th will make them say we're dancing in the streets. Can I throw in we have 2 7ths in 2025. I'll give you a Tampa 7th. Why not? Tampa 7th in 2025, and now, of course, on behalf of the Boston Bruins, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you out on the ice. So Ryan Poehling, thank you for your service here in Pittsburgh, coming from Montreal in the Mike Matheson, Jeff Petrie swap. Jake DeBrusk, welcome to Pittsburgh. We're not sure if you'll stick around for a long time, but there's some third-line scoring for us. Hollander will get bumped down. Let's fix the lines. And you know what? While Malkin is gone, I'm going to try doing something a little crazy here. DeBrusk has actually his best line fit is on the first line. So let's throw him up there with Crosby and Gensel and just see what happens. Once Gino comes back, we'll likely put him back on the third line. Raquel back into the top 6. But let's try this for now. Down on the fourth line, it's going to be Hollander centering with Nylander and Jágr on the wings. But you know what? Until he comes back next week, whenever it is, let's give it a little experiment. So there is our one deadline move, a few moves in this episode since the halfway point. Let's see how it works out with our first game here at home at PPG Paints Arena, hosting the Rangers, divisional matchup. They are very close to us as well in terms of points, so this is a must-win game. It may become a must-win game, so let's treat it like that. Jake DeBrusk in his Penguins debut, let's hit it. First period, 2-0 Rangers. K'Andre Miller and Ivan Barbashev were being outshot by double, 16-8 through 20 minutes. Second period, we're back in it. Let's go. Chris Letang and Brian Rust. We're tied at 2. Shots are 25-21 in our favor. Third and final period now. Power play Penguins to start the period, killed off by the Rangers. Outshooting them 30-22, 5 minutes in now. Jake, buddy, I'm looking at you in your Penguins debut on that top line. Top power play unit as well. I'm looking at you. Under 10 to go. Power play. It's Tyler Toffoli. We'll take it from him as well. The second newest Penguin. 3-2 for the Pens with 3 minutes to go. Hanging on tight, then Rickard Raquel adds the insurance down on the fourth line. And we'll take that victory from down 2-0 to winning 4-2. Huge character victory. Shots and 37-29 in our favor. And we'll take it 4-2 the final. Letang a goal and 2 assists. Toffoli a goal and an assist. Mackenzie Blackwood making 27 saves. Let's check out the points in this one. Jake DeBrusk, where are you, buddy? DeBrusk, what did you do out here? 18:34 of ice time, zeros across the board, 2 penalty minutes, 1 face-off taken, no face-offs won. Quiet debut for DeBrusk. Part of me feels like I'm kind of just grasping at straws, trying to just do anything to keep this season afloat. We're in the wild card spot. We definitely have the possibility of making the postseason. We've made a couple big additions. They've been doing well, especially Toffoli and Blackwood. So hopefully it continues. Simulating through the deadline now. Let's see what happened around the league, going all the way to the bottom here. Penguins, first right there, Jake DeBrusk, there we go. Kevin LeBlanc going to the Kings, Ethan Bear to the Devils, Noah Hannafin back to the Hurricanes, Jacob Trouba to Montreal, wow. Jacob Trouba a 4th for Josh Anderson, and Mike Hoffman going to the Rangers, wow. Barabanov to the Capitals, Alex Wenberg back to the Panthers, Zachary Lheureux and Annunen going to the Ducks for Adam Henrique and a 4th. Noel Gunler to the Canadiens. Wow, all right. Logan Stankoven and Antonio Stranges to Seattle for Justin Schultz and a third. Nate Danielson going to Anaheim. Oliver Shillington to Toronto. Wow. All right, so some moves around the NHL. Absolutely. We're in the final stretch now with 34, 24, and 4 being our record. Let's sim it on up and get to the Devils. Let's go see them in a couple of weeks. We'll face them twice in the span of 3 days. Nikita Zadorov on waivers here. 81 overall. Ooh, tempting if I hadn't already taken Nick Holden. But we don't need another $2.25 million. We're already over the salary cap anyways. If we actually needed someone, we would just call up Holden. So not a big deal. Evgeny Malkin fully healed and ready to rock and roll here after the deadline. So I believe probably Nylander will come out of the lineup here. Alexander Nylander, he's been doing all right. Yeah, 5 goals, 13 assists. He's doing okay. But I got to keep Jagr in there. Jaromir Jagr, he's a presence. He's doing well enough also. So I believe it will be probably Zucker dropping to the 4th line just for the time being. Gino coming back. Give me a second to fix it up. All right, so let's try rolling like this. We'll go Toffoli, Crosby, Gensel, Raquel, Malkin, Rust, DeBrusk, O'Reilly, Zucker, 4th line, Hollander, Stahl, Jagr, with the 13th forward at the moment being Nylander, 14th forward Kopke, and 7th defenseman Ruedel / Nick Holden down in the AHL. Let's try that out. We are fully healthy for the first time since we made all those trades, and I'm not sure if we were fully healthy for that game, but a 5-2 loss against the Panthers, first game post-trade deadline. Let's keep on going to the series of 2 games in 3 days against the Devils in a couple of weeks from now. On the road for a little road trip here, starting in Florida with the loss, now on the road in Winnipeg, 6-2 loss, on the road in Dallas, and it's a 6-2 win, thank goodness, on the road in St. Louis, 4-1 loss, and on the road in Nashville before coming home, 3-1 loss. That is ugly. Very ugly. Head coach can do that. Yikes. All right, 35, 28, and 4 is our record as we're closing in on the end of the year. Boston, then Philly, couple games here. Okay, head coach can just do what he has to do down the AHL. Facing the Bruins, 2-1 shootout loss and a 5-1 loss. Come on, don't do this to me now. Don't do this to me now. Do not do this to me. Toffoli down to an 84 overall. Why are you regressing? Why are you regressing? DeBrusk, buddy, don't tell me you have 0 points, -6 in 2 games. 1 goal, -2 in 8 games. Come on. 12.5 minutes of ice time per night. What's going on? -12 from Hollander? Really? This 4th line. 4th line needs speed, maybe? Okay, Jagr, you're out of here. Yager's out. Nylander's coming in. Maybe we just got to bring in speed. Is that it? I don't know. Is that it? DeBrusk, come on. Defense, what's going on here? +14, -1. +4, -1. +4, -8. Okay, Petrie, you're out for Nick Holden. Let me do that in a minute. And Blackwood, are his numbers coming down or is it Hill? What's going on? 925 save percentage, 2.38, and Hill, 905. Okay, auto-rotate goalies being turned off. Blackwood's being given the reins. Holden's getting called up for Jeff Petrie, and let me just take care of that. I'm at a loss with these plus minuses. I don't know what to do. O'Reilly, Mr. Two-Way Forward. Mr. Selke, -11 with his 5-star defense. I don't get it. Defense, Nick Holden can't be called up because of the salary cap, even if I want to send down Petrie, so that's a scam. Ruedel, welcome. You're playing 3rd pair with P.O. Joseph. Congratulations. And Mackenzie Blackwood starting for the rest of the way here. Come on now. This is ridiculous, gentlemen. We are better than this. Let's go now. It's slowly slipping away from us. It's slowly slipping. We're in the 2nd wild card spot, taking on 2 huge games against the New Jersey Devils, who are sitting atop the Metropolitan Division. 1 at home, then 1 on the road. We need we need a minimum of 3 points, I would say, out of these 4 games. Let's do it at PPG Paints Arena. Cross those fingers. First period, 1-0 Devils. Patrick Kane on the power play. Second period, 2-1. Brian Rest ties it up. Then Patty Kane with his 2nd of the night. Shots are 21-16 in our favor. We need a goal here in the 3rd to tie this game up. I'm looking at that top 6. Toffoli, Crosby, Gensel. Where are you? I don't know why the game has to be so different than reality. Where is the point per game plus status of Sidney Crosby? What has happened this year? 4-1 loss. We score 1 goal on Schmid. 1 goal on Schmid. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Malkin, top line, +5. O'Reilly, second line. Raquel, 14 goals, 30 assists. Russ, 25-24. You stay there. Toffoli comes up. Toffoli, right wing. Rust on the left. Third line, DeBrusque. Anything for DeBrusque? Anything different? Still just 1 goal in 9 games, -4. Goodbye. We traded for him. You know what? We traded for him. He doesn't have to play. You want to be a healthy scratch? Be a healthy scratch. Stahl, third line center with Raquel and Zucker. Fourth line's going to be Hollander center with Nylander and Jágr. There you go. You want to play games? You want to be junk? Then be junk. Jaromir Jágr comes in. Beautiful. +5 in that first line. Toffoli's second line with ROR. Let's go. Let's get a win here on the road in New Jersey, at least to cancel out losing those 2 points. Lose 2 points, gain 2 points back. We can still make the postseason here. We still have the opportunity to do so. Do not let it slip away. We're 35, 30, and 5. 3, 6, and 1 in our last 10. Disgusting little stretch here. Let's go. First period, 2-0 Penguins. Malkin on O'Reilly. Malkin on the first line, ROR on the second. 29 seconds apart. Let's go now. Second period, 3-2. Bastian scores 1 for the Devils. Raquel makes it a 2-goal game once more. And then Luke Hughes brings it back to 1. Shots are 26-18 for the Devils. We hold on to a 1-goal lead here in the third period. Being outshot, but we got to get 1 more here. At least 1 more. As we're just allowing a barrage of shots to come against us. We're getting a good amount ourselves. Power play opportunity. That could be the difference maker, but it's not. Power play for the Devils. Killed off by the Penguins penalty killers. Under 5 to go. Hanging on tight to that 1-goal lead. And it's going to be enough as O'Reilly adds the empty netter. Whoo! And we'll take that victory. We needed that one. Mackenzie Blackwood, 33 saves against his old teams. ROR with 2 goals. Ty Smith with 2 assists. We needed that one. We are back in a wild card spot. 77 points for the Rangers, 78 points for the Hurricanes. We're coming up on a game against them. We're going to face the Flames now. Tyler Toffoli against his old team. They ended up going on a crazy stretch, right? They're sellers. They want everyone gone. Now they're 38, 29, and 5. Of course they are. Let's go. Here we go at home. We need another win. We got to get as much as possible from here on out. Let's go. First period, 0-0. Second period, 2-0. Malkin and P.O. Joseph. There we go. Shots are pretty much tied through 40 minutes, and it is a 2-0 lead for Pittsburgh. 1 more would be great as we're hanging on to the 2 goals that were scored in the second period. Last game, we held on to a third period lead, and it paid off. We can't always do that, though. We can't just sit back and watch. 5 minutes to go. We're still hanging on to it. 3 minutes left in this one. Shots are quite even. Of course, Mackenzie Weegar breaks the shutout, but we'll take the 2-1 victory in regulation. Shots end 32-31, but still a great 30-save performance from Mackenzie Blackwood, who's turning on the Jets here. P.O. Joseph gets the game winner. 2-1, regulation victory. How do you do? Thank you very much. Big win. Now, we have a game in hand on the Rangers. They're 1 point above us. Also a game in hand on the Hurricanes, who are also 1 point above us. So this is a huge game. I've said the word huge a few times now, but this is probably the biggest game of the last few. The Devils were way ahead of us. This could be a playoff deciding game. This could be a playoff deciding game at PNC Arena in Carolina. Penguins, Hurricanes, let's do it. Final stretch, and we need every game. This is a big one. Monumental. First period, 3-0. That's what I'm looking for from this squad. Jake Guentzel, Jaromir Jágr, and Tyler Toffoli. That's what I'm looking for from this squad. 3-0 after 20 minutes. Power play Hurricanes to start the second to kill it off. Second period ends 5-0. Jágr with his second of the night. Toffoli with his second of the night, and it comes shorthanded. Thank you very much. 6-2 the final. Dumba gets 1. Malkin adds 1 more, and Teravainen beats Blackwood again. 29 saves on 31 shots. Thank you, Mackenzie Blackwood. Toffoli 2 goals. Jaromir Jágr with 2 goals. Possibly the first multi-goal game in who knows how many years for Jágr. That'll be another victory. Huge win. We leapfrogged the Rangers, and we're now 1 point behind the Hurricanes with the same amount of games played. Here we go. I'm just slow simming every game now. I'm sorry if this makes the episode longer. I'm slow simming every game from here on out. We need to go slow, I suppose. That's been working for us. Here against our state rivals, the Flyers. First shot, first goal, Tyler Toffoli. He has 3 goals in the last 2 games. First period ends 1-1. Cutter Gauthier ties it up. Shots doubled for the Flyers there, 14-7 in their favor. The second period, oh my goodness! O'Reilly gives us the early goal. Farabee ties it back. Russ gives us the lead. Konechny ties it back, and then Couturier and Lawton scoring in the... very concentrated there. All those goals coming in 10 minutes of each other. Shots are 30-16, but we're only down by 2 here in the third period. 5-3 Flyers. 30-16. Let's get the puck on net here, boys. Power play opportunity. That's a big chance, and it slips away from us as the Flyers kill it off. Power play, Philly. Extended, of course. Extended power play for the Flyers. We kill it off. Still down by 2. Evgeny Malkin. We're now down on Marcus Pettersson. It's a 5-5 game. Shots are 40-25. We are tied at 5, but Joel Farabee. Late heroics. Oh. 8-5. You can't score 5 goals and allow 8. Granted, 1 empty netter. You can't score 5 and allow 7. That's a huge blow to us. Big blow. Big blow. We score, but we get scored on heavily. Okay, Wilkes-Barre, whatever. Home and home here against the Red Wings, as we will host them and then be on the road against. And then, sorry, we will be on the road and then host them here at Little Caesars Arena. How does it shape up here in the Metro? We are out of the playoffs at the moment, as the Hurricanes and the Rangers both 1 point up on us. We need to get a couple of wins here. The Red Wings are 33-34-7. Let's fly through these. Come on. First period, 2-0 Red Wings. Second period, 3-2. There's a little bit of fight from this team, a little bit of passion. Gensel scores twice. Russ scores in the power play. We're up 3-2. Shots are 24-17 in our favor through 40 minutes. Power play, Detroit early in the third, killed off by the Penguins. Let's sim through this third period, and we hang on. O'Reilly power play, and Russ even strength. 5-2 victory for the Penguins. Thank you very much. And now, after winning in Detroit, we will host them the next day back home in Pittsburgh. We are back in a playoff spot. It's the Penguins, the Hurricanes, and the Rangers. 3 teams fighting for 2 spots right now. We're looking for 2 more points. We got to try and start to pull away a little bit. I don't want to be like this down to the last game of the season. Let's go. First period, 3-1 Penguins. Thank you. Zucker, Crosby, and Gensel. Lucas Raymond scoring on Blackwood. Second period, 4-3. Joe Veleno, then Philip Zadina tying it up. But Ryan O'Reilly restores our lead. 4-3 Penguins through 40 minutes. Shots 26-15 in our favor. We're only up by 1 against the Red Wings, who are below 500. We got to be beating these teams before we get into the postseason. Let's go. Halfway through this third period, shots 29-18. The good news is we seem to do well in the slow sim. Let's hope that can carry into the postseason should we make it. 3 minutes to go. We're still hanging on to a tight 1-goal lead, and thank goodness ROR extends it, and Hollander the empty netter. Was that a hat trick for O'Reilly, actually? O'Reilly, no, 2 goals for him, a goal and assist for Crosby, a goal and assist for Gensel. Another big win. That'll be now 3 of our last 4. Very, very good. All right, we're not pulling away just yet, but we're in that first wildcard spot. Now against the Bruins, who are 32-40-4. I guess the Brust being scratched works out. Why not? We tried to pick him up. Didn't work out. Whatever. First period, 2-0 Bruins. Second period, 1 goal for us. It's Rickard Rakell. Third period, we're down by 1. Power play Bruins. We're slow simming all the way to the end of the season here. Apologies if it's a lengthy episode, but it is going to be a tight rush to the finish here. Race to the finish, excuse me. Halfway through the third, down by 1. The Bruins are definitely not shooting us, but Dmitry Orlov, against one of his old teams, ties this game at 2. Final 3 minutes to go. Just get that point. Get into overtime, please. 8 seconds. Thank you very much. Shots end 33-29 for the Bruins. We at least get the point. Now in overtime, I'd love to get 1 more point. Let's go 3-on-3 action in the extra period. And we Sidney Crosby, the captain. Thank you, Sid. Shots end tied at 35. And we win in overtime. 33 saves from Mackenzie Blackwood. Sid the Kid gets the game winner in overtime. That point was needed. Thank you very much. Now going up against the Senators. They're 36-34-8. Okay, best lines down in the AHL. My goodness, you guys. All right, everyone's getting injured left and right over there. 87 points for us, 86 for the Hurricanes, and 82 for the Rangers. It's still 5 games to go in the season, so it's not over yet at the Canadian Tire Center here in Ottawa. Oh my. First period, 1-0 Rickard Rakell and Freddie Anderson. Second period, 3 goals from the Senators. Stützle, Norris, and Joseph scoring 3 goals in like 2.5 minutes. Amazing. Pettersson scores early here in the third period. We're down by 1. Shots tied at 21. 5 minutes in. Shots tied at 24. We're got good back and forth pace here. Halfway through the third, Marcus Pettersson has put us within 1 on Freddie Anderson, but we're still down by 1 with 5 to go. Shots tied at 27. 2 minutes left in this one. Final push, and that'll be it. Hurricanes are in my head. Senators beat us in regulation. Those 3 second period goals were brutal. Final 4 games of the season now. The Rangers are just 1 point back, but we have a game in hand. Hurricanes are 1 point above us with the same amount of games played. We're slow simming through each and every one. Here against the Capitals at home, one of our longest rivals. First period, 2-1 Pens. O'Reilly shorthanded. Strome power play. Rust power play. All about the special teams in that period. Second period, 3-1 of Evgeny Malkin on the power play. 4 goals scored through 40 minutes. All on the special teams. Up by 2 here in the third period. Shots are pretty even. 1 more to ice it? Or no, let's just hang on and bite our nails all the way to the end. Why would we want to save time and save the heartache, right? Power play, Ovechkin scores, but then Evgeny Malkin comes right back, thank you. Back to the 2-goal lead with 2 minutes to go. That should be enough. Hold on, Nicholas Backstrom. Oh, then Crosby, not even on an empty netter. Wow. Ovechkin answered by Malkin. Backstrom answered by Crosby 15 seconds later. All the old heads right there, and we'll take the 5-3 victory in regulation. 2 goals and an assist from Malkin, 3 assists from Gensel, a goal and assist for O'Reilly. Blackwood, O'Reilly, these are good slow sim players, it seems like. We'll take that victory, and we needed it. Now in Colorado to face the Avalanche. 3 games left in the year. Coming down to the wire. First period, 2-2. Stahl shorthanded and Zucker, but then Rantanen and DeHaan to tie it up. Second period, 4-2. Nichushkin scores twice. From up 2-0 to down 4-2. Third period, power play for the Avalanche. All right, let's call it 7-2. Amazing. Up 2-0, lose 7-2. That's great. That's great. Okay. Final 2 games of the season. The Rangers are 1 point back. We have a game in hand. And the Hurricanes 1 point up with the same amount of games played. I don't think it's ever been closer in a franchise mode series. First period here against the Coyotes. 3-3. 6 goals scored in that first period. Anisimov on the power play. Schmaltz even strength. Malkin ties it up. Nemeth 2-goal lead. Gensel then to Foley to tie it up. Wow. Second period, 5-4. Crosby, Michelli, and then Malkin. We're up by 1. 9 goals through 40 minutes here against the between the Penguins and the Coyotes. Power play Penguins killed off by Arizona. Shots 30-20. Power play Coyotes. Rust scores as that power play expires. We're now up by 2 with 7 minutes to go, and Jordan Stahl puts it away. 7-5 the final, and Moser will add 1 more. I wouldn't be surprised if Blackwood's getting tired at this point with all these starts, but I can't afford to play Aiden Hill. All right, and we clinch the postseason with that victory as the Rangers lose and the Penguins win. Or I don't think they lost. Or I'm not sure what happened, if they lost or if we won. I did it. We clinch the postseason in Game 81. In Game 81. So if we leapfrog the Hurricanes by winning and they lose or overtime loss, or we overtime loss and they lose, I'm not sure, I have to look at the tiebreaker, we would jump them and face the Devils in round number 1, or we stay where we are and we face the Maple Leafs, who have 102 points. I'd rather face the Devils. Both are tough. Let's try and get this victory. That's why Aiden Hill will not come in. I don't want to give him a start. I don't want to give Mackenzie Blackwood any rest, honestly. We got to just go best chance to win. Against the 36, 37, and 8 Tampa Bay Lightning, Game 82 on the year, to see if we can just get a better postseason spot here. First period, 1-0 Lightning. Second period, still 1-0 it remains. Shots 22-16 in our favor through 40 minutes. Jaromir Jagr in Game 82 ties it up at 1. And then Tyler Toffoli on the power play. Thank you very much. That was a good pickup. DeBrusk, it was a gamble that didn't pay off. But Toffoli, Blackwood, those were 2 good moves. I got to give myself a pat on the back as GM. Who knows where we would have been if we didn't get those 2 picked up. Brian Rust extends our lead and will win 3-2 the final. Shirley adds a late one. My goodness. Tyler Toffoli a goal and assist in that game. Is that win enough? Did the Hurricanes also win? What's the tiebreaker? Let's check it out. Oh, the Hurricanes also won. And they have the tiebreaker, it seems. Unfortunate. Did everyone play 82 games? Hold on. One more game to be played in the NHL. And that's it. Everyone played their 82nd game. Let's check it out. Let's close it out. Long enough episode. Enough nails have been bitten. Let's just close it out. So in the entire NHL, where did we squeak in here when it comes to the standings? If we scroll down, I don't know how strong the West was. Actually, we finished 13th in the league. All right, 13th best in the NHL, 44, 33, and 5. You know what? That wasn't a bad record. We're on pace for 40. We got 44. It wasn't a horrible second half. It was just a little hiccup there along the way. Goal, we needed to score a bit more and allow a little less. A power play at 13.5% is among the worst. It's the 4th worst power play in the NHL. So we got to fix that headed into the postseason. Penalty kill of 83.3, closer to the bottom than the top. In the points here, Evgeny Malkin finished with 76 points in 80 games. No one went point per game plus. Crosby, 36 goals and 74 points. Jake Gensel, 26 goals, 68 points. A bit of a letdown. Tyler Toffoli, thank goodness we picked him up. In the 41 games that he played, he scored 34 points. 11 goals and 23 assists, exactly what he did in Calgary, but in 4 less games. He was a +9, slightly higher shooting percentage, and he was averaging just 4 seconds less, so he did exactly what we wanted him to do. Well done, Tyler Toffoli. Brian Rust, 31 goals, 61 points. I love that bounce back from him. 50-point season from Raquel. 48 points in 72 games from Ryan O'Reilly. Ends a -9. Wasn't super impressed. Chris Letang, 41 points and a +5. Jake DeBrusk, in his 9 games, he scored 1 goal, -4. We'll see if he makes the postseason roster. Jason Zucker, 34 points and a -8 with 13 minutes of ice time in 79 games. Dmitry Orlov, in his first year, 33 points and a +7. He turned it around towards the end of the year when he got bumped up to the second pair. Jordan Staal, in his limited role, 12 minutes around 12 minutes of ice time per night. 32 points in 72 games. I'll take that. Jaromir Jagr, at the age of 51, scores 30 points in 81 games, was a -9. Incredible from him. We'll look where he ranks all time at the end of the postseason. Ty Smith ends with 22 points and a +18. Great season from him. That he spent a lot of time on the top pair. 20.5 minutes of ice time per night. So take a bow, buddy. Marcus Pettersson, 21 points and a +13. Hollander, 21 points and -10 through 73 games. He grew to a 78 overall. Nylander, 19 points in 75 games. Petrie, 8 points and -8 in 69 games. P.O. Joseph, 6 points and a +3 in a full 82. Chad Ruedel, 1 assist and a -3 in 13 games. Goaltending, Mackenzie Blackwood, a huge pickup. In the 35 games that he appeared in, 21, 12, and 2 was his record. 912 save percentage, 2.76 goals against average. Numbers definitely came back down to earth, but what he did in the first, 15-game stretch got us into the postseason. Thank you, Mackenzie Blackwood. And Aiden Hill, 46 appearances, goes 23, 20, and 3 with 4 shutouts, 906 save percentage, 2.89 goals against average. If you're curious, down in the AHL at the moment, just for giggles, Drew O'Connor, 61 points. Cormier, 58. Can't wait to have him in the NHL. Pustonen, 45. Yeah, nothing too crazy. And goalies, I know that Blomqvist started most of the games. Neither goalie looking too hot there. So it was a roller coaster of a season. We finished last in our division of teams that made the postseason, but we finished 13th best in the league. 5 of the top 13 teams in the NHL are from the Metropolitan Division. Of the 4 divisions, 5 of the top 13 teams are from one division. So that's saying something about the Metro, absolutely. In round number 1, as we know, we'll be facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. That will be a tough matchup. They went 50, 26, and 6 on the season. We'll just quickly look at their lines and we'll wrap it up. As I've been saying a few times, definitely a long enough episode with all the nails that we had to bite to get here. The Maple Leafs, let's check it out. Their first line, Nylander, Matthews, and Marner, 91, 96, 94. Oh my goodness. What kind of seasons did these guys have? 88 points, 51 goals from Austin Matthews. Second line, Yarncrow, Tavares, and Gustav Nyquist. Third line, Balcers, Kerfoot, and Nick Robertson. Fourth line, Nick Foligno, Paul Stastny, and Paul Byron. Interesting. Couple of Pauls on the fourth line. Defense, Morgan Riley and Connor Timmins, TJ Brody and Jake Muzzin, Oliver Shillington, and Hayden Fleury. Goaltending, Ilya Samsonov at an 87 overall, backed up by Matt Murray at an 83. Samsonov on the season, 33, 17, and 5. Not crazy numbers. I think he's beatable. Scratches, Liljegren is a injury at the moment at an 82 overall, but Giordano and McCabe, both 82 overall defensemen who are healthy scratches. So overall-wise, definitely a top-heavy team, but they won 50 games for a reason. Also, I'm curious about the coaching staff. How does the chemistry look between these guys? Are we down to 40%? 65. All right, 65%, I'll take it. Anyone who anybody hates out here? Low chemistry? No one has low chemistry with anybody. All right, at least. So that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Headed into the postseason, the biggest thing that we have to think about, what are the line combinations? Do we want to change anything up headed into this series against the Maple Leafs? They don't ask you how you got to the dance. They just want to know, what do you do on the dance floor? So Toffoli, Blackwood, 2 huge pickups. Very proud of those two. Pat myself and all the assistant general managers on the back for Toffoli. I'll give myself some props for Blackwood, but the job is not done yet. Same thing for the power play. These are our 2 units. Let me know, how would you have the power play units? This is unit number 1, Toffoli, Malkin, Crosby, with Letang and Raquel at the point. This is unit number 2, Rust, O'Reilly, Gensel, with Yager and Orlov at the point. Maybe now we move out Yager, but even then, I think that, third or fourth worst power play in the league goes deeper than having Yager as a 77 at the point. I think it's deeper than that. So let me know your thoughts for the power play combinations, as well as anything you may have to say about the forward lines or the defense lines headed into the 2024 postseason. We made it back to the dance. We did what ownership wanted us to do, but the job is not done. We want to go on a deep run. And then now the question is, what do we have to do to make sure it's the deepest run possible? Headed into next episode, we can also consider the possible extensions to Tyler Toffoli and or Jake DeBrusk. Toffoli currently wants 4 years of 5.77. We could go a little less, probably get like a 3x5 type of thing. We have 7.8 million to play with. If DeBrusk were to come back, he's definitely not coming back at that price, so he will likely walk. Thankfully, it wasn't a crazy price tag to get him, so not a big deal. Oh, and if we want Mackenzie Blackwood to come back, we could always trade out Aiden Hill and sign Blackwood. Yeah, okay, actually, we could do 5x4-ish. It wouldn't be the craziest thing. Yeah, we could probably, I would want to do this probably ASAP. I'd want to do that ASAP, like 5 years. Maybe he doesn't play for a full 5 years, but 5 years at like 3.8 million, that wouldn't be horrible. If we could also move out Jeff Petrie, maybe, that would be good to free up some cap space. So consider that headed into next episode as well. But I'll stop there, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough information. That's enough sweat pouring down your brow. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please do leave a like if you did. We're back in the postseason. Let's leave a like for some good luck. And of course, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so that you'll be made aware of all of our uploads here for Franchise Mode in NHL 23, MLB The Show 23 Franchise Mode, breaking news and analysis as it happens in the real world of hockey as well. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Leave your thoughts in the comments down here on YouTube or over on the Discord server, link in the description. And I will see you in the next one when we will take on the 2024 postseason. First stop, the Toronto Maple Leafs.